Hi, I'm Michelle, and I have a secret, one I generally keep from people I don't know. But today the elders have asked me to share that secret with you and speak a little about the suffering I face each day. To start with, let me show you how my typical meet and greet with someone for the first time goes. I'll use the analogy of a softball game. When I meet people for the first time, the conversation goes well for a bit, as long as they take the "Hi, how are you?" glibly, as it's meant to be taken. A social necessity to facilitate civil engagement. "Hi, how are you?" is certainly not meant as a serious question with an undertaking to actually listen to the truth about someone's health. But I had better warn you, if you are on the door at church and someone says, "Not too good today," you had better not reply with the blanket, "That's good." I can get past the "Hi, how are you?" question quite easily because I think I look pretty normal. Although someone would comment that, "Oh dear, you're looking so pale." Well, my heritage is Scottish. The first question of inquiry I don't usually consider a strike. The ball meanders towards me, but it's wide and I let it go to the catcher. But then I will inevitably get asked, "What do you do?" I consider this strike one. I'm facing the pitcher and everyone expects me to hit the ball. I actually have to put my brain on now, but I usually make it to first base because, thankfully, for so many wonderful reasons, I am married. And I might add, to the most dream of a girl like me could ever have imagined of. Because I am married and not living at home with Mama and Papa Bear, I confidently reply, "I'm very fortunate," which I am. I'm blessed in not needing to work. Yes, I've made it to first base. Then the next strike hits. Strike two has a couple of variations. Now, remember, I'm on first base, so I'm going to have to call in a member of my team to bat. In my opinion, you can't get through life well without a team. My first port of call is always my husband of almost 18 years, Stephen. He's all ready to go in and bat for me. I'm on first base and I need him to hit the ball well in order for me to scramble to second. Unlike me, Stephen inherited a lot of sporting talent from his parents, so I'm not too worried. Sometimes the pitcher comes in fast and hard and says, "How many children do you have?" Other times, people are more subtle. "Do you have children?" In Stephen's words, quote, I reply in a negative way, politely, and then turn the question back on them. Well, that's what makes him Stephen the Lovely. I, on the other hand, want to reply, "Oh yes, I have 2 darling daughters." Or, "Well, after years of trying, several surgeries, 3 devastating miscarriages, and 10 horrific failed attempts at IVF, my husband and I have taken from God that he just doesn't want us to be parents." Okay, overdoing it a bit, and none of that actually happened, well, except for 1 surgery, but having to disclose the reality of my journey with fertility, I suppose, with a complete stranger is really hard. I am that woman biblical folks talked about in a derogatory way. She is barren. Strike 3 is all important. I call my GP, Dr. Wise, in to bat. I'm on second base and Stephen the Lovely is on first. Can Dr. Wise pull off a home run? He's going to have to hit the ball really hard. Strike three goes like this. So if I don't work and I don't have any children, what do I do with all of my time? I used to work part-time on a voluntary basis with Mama and Papa Bear at Mission Without Borders. I utilised my commerce training and I even had occasion to draw on my legal studies. But that was a long time ago, before I ever met Dr. Wise. What do you do all day? Now, here's the thing with my GP. As a Christian, Dr. Wise values truth highly, and so his answer is likely to unveil my secret life. Michelle suffers from chronic neuralgia, that means nerve pain, depression and migraines. Her days are spent managing that severe pain. No! I'm struck out. People don't want to hear that. They never would have asked if they knew that that was going to be the answer. Well, that's the end of the softball game. Let me introduce another member of my team, Papa Bear. I was talking with him a while ago while I was on the treadmill, something I do many days when the water's too cold or I've been on the exercise bike yesterday. After pleasantries and a brief discussion of how the All Blacks were doing, I said to him, "Dad, that last game was sick." "What?" he replied. "They won." "Yes, but sick doesn't mean sick anymore, Dad. Young people have stolen the meaning of the word and turned it around to mean the opposite." Ha! The cheek of it! I can't be sick anymore. Words may change meaning, but that doesn't change the reality of my life. I have had constant neck and head pain for 21 years, 1 month, and 21 days, give or take a day or two. That's my horrible secret. And even for those of you who know about my chronic pain, no one but God understands the full extent of the horror of this life of physical pain. How do I live with this reality? Well, it starts every morning when I wake into the consciousness of pain, now for the 10,000th time, and my soul cries out to God, "Please, Lord, let this be the day. Come and take me home, please." Living with chronic pain has turned my eyes to my triumphant Jesus and that day when he will rapture his church. I live in the hope of his promise to come, a promise dear to any suffering believer, because it could happen at any time. For me, to living in pain, I want some kind of escape. I don't want to live like this. But God has turned the impossible into the possible for me. And even though I never would have believed it before, a person can actually live like this. And God has shown me that I can live like this, with a fulfilling life, being married to Stephen the Lovely. Today I'm going to do something I have never quite done before. I have never let myself remember what it was like on that first day, those first couple of weeks. But I'm going to do so today so I can describe the anguish to you. I do this because this is still how I am if I wasn't medicated. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, but if you don't understand somewhat of the suffering, then we can't all give God the glory together. I'm relying on my memory, on journals, and before I left in New Zealand in 1999, I applied under the Privacy Act for all of my medical records. I was so young, 23, with my whole life ahead of me. That terrible, horrible day in 1994 when I woke with the most excruciating pain I could ever have imagined. My neck was on fire. It came in waves, this feeling like I was being electrocuted. I was nauseous. I was petrified. I was too afraid to move, so I just lay there frozen and cried out to God from the depths of my soul. Dear God, what is happening to me? This shouldn't be happening. Something terrible is happening to me. Why is this happening? My mind was muddled. I couldn't think straight. The pain was all-consuming. It had a grip on me like I was in a coffin. I felt suffocated. I didn't want to breathe though, because that would mean moving, and I felt like I needed to be really still. I was so scared. My mind whirled. Dear God, my life is never going to be the same. Is it over? Am I going to die? I just know it's never going to be the same. How could it be after this? What's happening to me, Lord? What have I done? Eventually I started to reason. I've got to get some painkillers into me. I've got to get to the doctor. Mom, I need help. I cried out to her. I remember sitting in the office of Dr. C-. I call him this because one day he disclosed to Mama Bear that he graduated near the bottom of his class. I told Dr. C- that the pain in my neck was a 10 out of 10. It was the most extreme pain I had ever experienced. I told him that the paracetamol and the codeine wasn't working. He asked a few questions, and then he wrote me a script for a strong anti-inflammatory and a muscle relaxant, both of which I had used in the past. Big deal. I wanted to shout at him, but I was trying to stay still. I'm in pain. It's almost unbearable. And this is all you're going to do? He stood up, walked to the door, and opened it. Doctors do that a lot with me. I went home, sobbing my little heart out. Maybe these medications will help, Mama Bear said, trying to reassure me. I lay in bed and I took pills. But there was hardly any relief. And after a few days, a new reality dawned on me. While the neck pain had started in my neck, I remember it gravitating to my head, and I remember holding my head and just rocking myself back and forward while I was sitting on my bed, and then I would lie down on the floor in the fetal position, and I would just cry out to God and say, something terrible has happened, Lord. What has happened? Why has this happened? What have I done? I wasn't sleeping well. I also began to notice that I couldn't lift my arms above about here. I went back to Dr. C- for take 2. None of the medications are helping, I said. The pain in my neck, it's unbearable. I've told you this. I can't live like this. Oh, you've got a headache, he asked. Oh, I knew where this was going. I have got pain from the top of my head, through to my neck, down into my shoulders, and into my arms. I can hardly lift my arm past about here. Well, if you've got a headache, it could be a migraine, he said. I'll write you a script for Migraine. It's a great new medication out called a triptan. I really don't think it's a migraine, I said. I have been thinking about this, you know, in between the times when I've been banging my head on the wall for some kind of distraction from the pain. And Mum's had to come and hold me because I've been crying, and she said, don't cry, sweetie, it'll just make the pain worse. This is just not working. Help it to said to Dr. C minus, I was totally aggro, I admit it. It was wrong, but I was in pain with a capital P. I went home to bed and I took the Migraine. It did nothing, except perhaps raise the hopes of Mama and Papa Bear, who by this stage were really distraught. And then they had their expectations shattered, yet once again. I went back for take 3 with Dr. C minus. It had been a whole week since that terrible, horrible day. My GP he was, since I'd been a baby. He sat there and he sighed. Oh, I just started in quickly. I was bursting with every kind of emotion I had ever experienced before, on steroids. I don't have a migraine, I said. As for the muscle relaxants, why are they not working? Why are my muscles not settling? I looked into the eyes of a man who really had no answers for me. I felt really sad and very lonely. I could hardly get it out for fear of launching into those unrelenting sobs of mine. But I did say quietly, it's because something terrible has happened to my neck. Dr. C minus spoke in a ridiculing way. What terrible thing do you think has happened? I don't know, I said, quietly sobbing. Isn't that what you were supposed to tell me? I just wanted to get out of his office. Mama Bear took over. She was in fine form. Her little cub was hurting. You don't see her at home, Kenneth. She's a wreck. She's gone from a happy, healthy law clerk to a student who can't get back to finish her last year. She's not making this up. Why would she do that? Well, I can't see anything wrong with her, said Dr. C minus. I think it could all be in her head. And then he looked at me straight in the eyes and said, you don't have a brain tumour. With that, he stood up, he walked to the door and he opened it.